Hey, what's up guys, back with another video. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do an oil change on a Kawasaki Z125 Pro. So today I have my Z125 Pro. It's due for an oil change. Here are some parts you need to take off. You gotta take off this part, and you should let the engine run for a bit so that you can prep the engine for the oil to get a lot more thinner, so it's easier to come out and you have to worry about waiting longer. With that, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So my bike needs an oil change now because it's around like 650 miles and it's been a while since and also the previous owner said he did an oil change, but you know, you can't really trust that. I mean, they say that, but sometimes you want to do it as a regular maintenance just in case, so that if anything, your engine runs smoothly. You also want to make sure that you know, your bike is running great and you can just take the bike out again. So first things first, I got some chain lube to, you know, lubricate the chain. It's been a while, so it looks a little rusty, so I really wanted to make sure that it's lubed up and ready to go. And also, so here are some tools that you need to do an oil change and maintenance on your motorcycle. So I got some dew point chain saver, which is pretty good for the price, around like $7. I got some Mobile One 10W40 motorcycle oil, and also I got a filter, which is a KN122. You can get this on Amazon. It does say on Amazon that this is not the right filter, but this is the correct filter if you go onto Kawasaki's, you know, regular page, and this will tell you that this is the right filter, because Amazon says it's not, but it's actually the right one. So if anything, don't worry about it, but just do double check if the filter is the correct one. So the first thing you want to do on the oil change is you have to take off this piece right here. You're gonna use a it looks like a sockets. You're gonna take these 4 sockets right here. Actually, there's one more right here that you need to take off, and then after that you'll be able to access the drain plug and also the filter. I'll show you guys after I take this off. So after a little fumbling around, you know, Allen keys are a little bit a pain in the butt to figure out. So this is the one I figured is the one that fits perfectly onto the socket. So this is the one you'll use, but you don't want to do it that way. You want to do it this way to loosen it so you have more leverage. I'm going to show you guys this after I take this off, then I'll show you guys the drain plug and also the oil filter. So I finally got this lower fender piece off. You can tell there's 4 screws that you need to take off after with an Allen key, and this is what it looks like. So the oil filter will be right here, and then the oil drain plug will be right here on the bottom. I don't know if you can see right here. So for this step, to get the oil plane jug, you need to use a 17 millimeter wrench to go under there. You might want to get a long one so that you have more leverage. But first things first, you have to get the oil pan. So what I have here is a oil pan. This should be good and big enough. And then also, just in case anything happens when you take out the oil filter, that's when you need to make sure to catch it. So we're gonna take out the bolt, and then we'll let the oil drain. So here's the washer and the bolt. So you want to let that aside, put it on a towel so you don't get oil all the floor. Let that drain for a bit. So you can tell that 1/4 oil is not a lot of oil, so it's really going to be really fast. But you should let it drip for a bit. Since the engine is hot, I did ride it for a bit before doing this oil change, which should help it smoothly. So you can tell the oil is very thin, so which is very good, so that it lets it all drain out, and then we can add new oil. And after that, after it drains, I'm going to show you guys where to put the oil, and remember to put the bolt back. And remember to torque it down to spec. Alright, seems like the oil has dropped. It's just doing dots and dots. It's just doing some droplets. So next thing is to take the oil filter, which is this one here, and there's one up there. I don't know if you guys can see. The lighting's not that great, but here's one. And here's 2. You're going to take these 2 out so you have access to the oil filter. Along with that, you will need a little socket. This one is 5x16, which fits perfectly onto the socket here. And then you're going to take it off. One here. One up here. Perfect. You might want to get extension. This would be very beneficial to access it. There's one really deep in there, so having the right tools is very important too. And also you want to make sure the oil pan's in place, because oil is going to drip from there. Get them out. So after you got that out, you really want to keep this spring that's located inside this filter to make sure that it springs in the filter right there, which is a very, very small filter. Let me take it out. There we go. That's how small it looks. This is the OEM filter. It looks like he didn't seem like to change it, but it's a time for a change, which is good. Also, here's her O-ring right here. You might want to lube it up before placing it. Everything looks to be in good order. Wipe it up and lube it up again. Should be good. And like I said before, here's the new one, KN112, and here's the original one. It looks like it's the same size, so which is good. So this is the correct one. So if you're going on Amazon, you can get one of these, KN112. So remember to get that, even though it says that it may be wrong. Next up, you want to lube this here, the seal for the oil filter. So you just grab some here from the new oil from the cap. That's what I like to do. Seal the metal too, just in case. There you go. Just add a little more, just so that it'll prep itself for some good old thing. And after that, you will need to put it back in there. So after lubing up, you just place it back. Well, I'm just gonna clean it up inside a little bit. You know, put it back. Put it back in like that. And then here's the thing. I'm gonna put a little oil. Alright guys, so I have a torque wrench here. I set it up to 21 foot-pounds, a little more just in case, so with that we'll be good to go. Torque it to spec. So go to the bottom. Torque it. After that, you're gonna fill the oil. Here's where the oil goes into, and this is where you can check the oil level. So right now there should be none. There is some because it was left there. So what I'm gonna do is put an oil, got a funnel, and then we're gonna put the oil. So this uses 10W40, 1 quart. So you just pour all this in, which is very convenient. You don't worry about, you know, having to measure. But after that, we'll measure it with our trusty oil filter cap. So with that, I'm gonna pour the oil, let it drain. I'm just gonna let it drain all the way for all the oil to go in. So after you put all the oil, just plug it in. And we'll give it a fresh start. So everything's hooked in, no oil leaks. I don't see any right now, so which is good. So with that, we're gonna start it up. Alright, started with engine. You see anything dropped in there? Wait for a minute. After firing up the engine, I'm gonna sit up on my bike and we're gonna take out the plane to drain plug, because this is the way to check it. Alright, then we're gonna put the bike down. So you can tell, I don't know if you can see on the screen, but here's it says it's up to standard, so I'm gonna basically put it up to this paper. And you can see it filled up to the line. It was dry before, now it's filled up to the line, so which is good. guys, so I just finished doing the oil change, put all the new filters, everything in the drain bolt, and it looks fantastic. It looks like OEM. Remember to torque it down to 21 foot-pounds for spec. And also now I'm gonna start looping up the chain here. All right guys, so my battery's about to die, but now I'm gonna do the chain slack. So it's very important to go to the manual to make sure your chain is up to spec. So mine should be 20 to 35 millimeters, but I'm gonna tighten it a little bit because it seems a little sloppy, so which isn't good. You know, it shouldn't be that sloppy. So it's been 600 miles already, so it needs to do some adjustments. So what you need to do is crack open this axle nut here and here. You don't need to make it loose. So from here, you use the tape measure and pull the chain and use this little, you know, sprockets to calculate it. So it's 40, and then pull back up. It should be around 2, so 20. So this is out of spec already. So I'll show you the calculations for that, which is 40 minus 20, which is pretty not the right spec. So we're gonna change it. So here's the axle nut. This is a 14 millimeter socket, so you need to do on both sides. Loosen it. Don't loosen it all the way. You just want to loosen it so that it'll be enough so you can move the axle to adjust it. And then you would need to go over here where you adjust it to make the ticks. Maybe use it as a reference to tighten it up. All right, so this side is a 17 mil instead of a 14, so that would have been bad. All right, so we're gonna loosen this up. So after you loosen the axle nuts, you will need to loosen the sprockets. So to do so, you just need a 1.5 wrench. Loosen the lock nut. There we go. But for this part of the thing, you would need a 9/16 wrench for the lock for the adjuster. So you want to do it to the right to adjust it, to tighten it. Gonna make it to the tick mark. It's a line. Here you go. Here's the first tick mark. I wanted to right there. There we go. It's on the number 3 here. And we'll check on the other side. It's on number 3 here. So we're good to go. So that is aligned. Once you aligned it, you want to get back your 9/16 and tighten it back up the lock nut so that nothing happens. Alright, so now I'm gonna be cleaning the chain, so spray some brake cleaner. And then wipe it as much as you can. It'll evaporate, but it's best to clean it. So after you got some brake cleaner, be using some dew-point chain saver, and we're gonna spray it into the chain, so a little bit up. So I'm gonna be spraying some chain lube. This is they said self-drying, which is good. And then I'm just gonna push the bike forward. All right guys, so this is how you do some maintenance on your bike. If your bike has already been running for 600 miles, this is a good way to do some maintenance and make it running like smoothly. So that'll be the video for today. So I'll see you guys later.